Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jeep Journals, where I'm in Big Bend National Park, and you would think it'd be relatively easy to be extremely happy in a place like this, and I am. I'm also feeling some heavy feelings. I hear people talking about famous characters, um, things that are on their devices, apps, um, non-stop talk about meal preparations. And although you can hear birds right now, here I am in the basin. At night, you don't hear any bats. You don't hear owls. You don't see the skunks roaming through the campgrounds, the foxes. And at first, the change was gradual. At first it's like, well, sometimes we'll see javelina up here in the basin. And then it was difficult to see them entirely. They're still here. Everything's still here. But the ongoing drought and constant extreme conditions causing even vegetation to grow differently, as confirmed by the interpretive ranger who suggested that I might need to read a book in order to fit my knowledge into this challenge, fit my knowledge in so that we can at least come to a place like this and respect it. If we respected a place like this, we wouldn't consume in the way that shows a direct blasphemy. We wouldn't subject ourselves to purchasing the giant plastic containers over and over. We would come here with what we had, whether it was a pair of sandals or a specialized pair of hiking boots. But the reality of all of it is the consumption seems to take priority in a place like this. And for me, the preparation allows me to just prioritize. I'm here. There was this company I used to work with. It had a slogan, "Be here now." I'm right here. If someone wants to take the conversation and talk about some famous movie star's trial versus the decline in wildlife, the topic will shift continuously back to the originating topic of interest here, which is wellness and conservation. So if you believe that the world deserves to hear about wildlife and nature and climate situations wherever we might be, share something like this. Comment, read the description. But to go on business as usual, that surely is not the right way, especially when we say things can't go back to the way they were. What have they become right now, if not just more of what they were? Think about it. For the percentage of meals that are being picked up, it's just additional packaging upon processing, while the world has an absence of integral creatures in vital habitats, such as the Big Bend National Park. I'm not saying there are no bats here. I heard them up at the past pinnacles, up in the Juniper Canyon area, I didn't hear them on every night while I was up there, but when they came through, it sounded like there were at least 2 or 3 in a group trying to find the pockets of insects together. There were plenty of hummingbirds where the flowers were growing, where the forests burned. But not as many down here in the basin, where the century plants are growing flowers that are shaped differently than the years before. Or something similar was happening up north with the raspberries that didn't fruit all the way. All of these integrated components of nature, including the way that we interact with nature, whether we listen to the birds calling overhead or not, and whether we become aware that there are no bats on occasion, where formerly, during certain conditions, especially after several rainfalls now, where the bugs would bring out the best of the best. Now, it's kind of easy to become overwhelmed by the details when you see something passing away in front of you. And when you see nothing but celebration driving the monetary aspect,
we feel like we got so close to the window. Like, it was all those rocks behind, right? Yeah. Because we're in like a little cavern. What's the other path? No, we were just fucking. How did y'all turn around without knowing y'all turned around? We didn't know. Like, we literally just. Everything looked the same. There was only like specific stuff.
awareness. Sometimes we recognize ourselves over and over throughout time. And sometimes we recognize that the only anger and hate is really just self-anger and self-hate. And so, addiction, the ability to prioritize things in order of effectiveness, determines where our addictions continue or end.
We never went down those steps though. Like, it's like we went a whole different direction. It's like we used the wrong formula for right now.
I'm not sure if you hear that conversation. It's almost like these kids are emphatically claiming that they went the right way, but that they found out that they shouldn't have ended up at the right place based on the way they went. When it sounds to me like they passed the steps for the continuation trail that goes to the Cattail Falls area. So I think they did the trail properly. Anyway, you can see how going with a plan or going without a plan, almost the same results will be achieved, but the amount of consumption and the amount of oblivious regard to that which is around us, like how many times should they have seen a snake on that trail? So should someone be focused on just the conversation at hand, or should they prioritize that thought to include venomous serpents? Anyway, these are all basic thoughts I have when I really reflect on things, and things can seem to bring me down at times. but only as I recognize the world passing away in front of me, and not just this national treasure, but in many of the locations where I've been fortunate to have researched in person for whatever period of time I got to do so. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Peace, love, and all that old school stuff.